Hey guys, it's Sabrina. Today I wanted to do my top 13 books of 2013. It is officially 2014. It's actually the first week of January. And I had a decent reading year this year, but it definitely wasn't where I wanted it to be. I didn't read anywhere near as many books as I wanted to. But I will talk about that in another video because I will be doing my 2014 reading goals, updates kind of stuff in another video. So I'm going to get right into it. The books that I have were not all published in 2013. Some of them were, but some of them weren't. These are just the books that I read in 2013, and I tried to put them in chronological order from when I read them in the beginning of the year till the end of the year. So the first book that I read and loved was Beautiful Creatures, and this is by Kami Garcia and Margaret Stohl. This is book 1 in the Castor Chronicles series. I read all 4 of these books in the first or second week of January, and I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed the series. It follows 2 main characters, Lena Duquesne and Ethan Wade. And he's from a small southern town, and she is someone different who moves in, and there's like a paranormal element to it. She's actually a caster, and it's just about their relationship together, and I really enjoyed the series as a whole. I think I gave this series a total like a 5 out of 5 stars. With this book in particular, I gave 5 out of 5 stars. The next book on my list is Altered, and this is by Jennifer Rush. This was definitely one of my favorite books. I think that this book was not hyped up enough, and I think that it should have been. This book follows 4 boys who are living in a basement, and they live in Anna's basement with her father, and her father actually works for the government. There's like a secret branch that is altering these boys, like wiping their memories, and then they come after them, and Anna and the 4 boys escape, and it's just follows their story of how they escape and survive on their own. And I really enjoyed this. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and the sequel comes out on the 7th of January, I believe, so I'm really looking forward to that. The next book I read was The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken, and this was my top favorite book of 2013. I absolutely loved this book, adored it. It follows our main character, Ruby. In her world, children are dying, and the ones that are surviving are developing kind of like powers, abilities type thing. There's different stages of abilities, different kinds of abilities, and they're categorized into different colors. These kids with abilities are being put into kind of like concentration camps, and this follows Ruby and her life in a concentration camp, and her life on the run, and you know, kind of goes into the different kids' stories with their different abilities, and I absolutely love this book. I read the novella In Time that came out a few months ago, and I really enjoyed it. And I also picked up the sequel to this, but I have not read it yet because I've been putting it off for as long as I can. And I believe the 3rd book comes out this year, 2014. So highly recommend this. If you have not read it, you need to. The next book on my list is Cinder, and this is by Marissa Meyer. This is book 1 in the Lunar Chronicles. I read Cinder and Scarlet back to back. Scarlet came out, I want to say February 2013, and Cress, book number 3, comes out February 4th, I believe, 2014. So I'm really looking forward to this. This book follows our main character, Cinder. It's a fairy tale retelling of Cinderella. Scarlet is a fairy tale retelling of Red Riding Hood, and Cress is a retelling of Rapunzel. I really like the world in these books, and I really like Cinder and Scarlet. I don't know which one I enjoyed more. Maybe Scarlet a little bit better, but I just wanted to put the first book in the series because I enjoyed them both, and I like being able to reference a series by the first book. So and I absolutely love these covers. They're so gorgeous. The next book that I read was Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins, and this book, I know I was like the last person on the face of the world to read this book, but I really love Stephanie Perkins' writing. I have not read Lola and the Boy Next Door. This book, I've probably reread it maybe 2 or 3 times this year, and I loved it so much I didn't want to read Lola and the Boy Next Door because I wanted to save it for a rainy day when I was in a reading slump, and I just kind of needed a book like that to get me out of it or to make me feel better. But anyway, this book follows Anna, obviously our main character, and it's probably one of the best relationships that I've seen that are realistic and that plays out and that you actually feel involved in, and the romance is just beautiful, the writing is beautiful, the characters are people that you really love and feel like you know them, and I don't know, I just really love this book, and I highly, highly recommend this series. The next book I read was Partials, and this is by Dan Wells. This is book number 1. I actually ordered this online from Barnes & Noble a little, last year, probably a year ago, and they sent me the autographed copy, so that was pretty awesome. This book follows our main character, what's her name? Kira. She's a 16-year-old medic in training. This is about the human race is pretty much extinct. The survivors have fled to Long Island, and this story follows Kira and the other survivors. They made partials who were engineered organic beings identical to humans, and they ended up kind of like turning on the humans and pretty much killed everybody. So this is a dystopian, and I really, really enjoyed it. The sequel, Fragments, has already come out. I have not read that yet, and then the 3rd book in the series comes out this year, 2014. The next book I read is White Girl Problems, and this is by Babe Walker. Babe Walker isn't actually a real person. This book is just based off the memoirs of Babe Walker. This book was probably the funniest book, definitely the funniest book I read this year. I read this probably 2 or 3 times this year as well. It's a book that really kind of picks me up when I need to be and gets me out of a reading slump. It basically follows Babe Walker and her life. These are her memoirs and like her journal entries, and she's a rich girl, and I don't know, I just feel like every girl who's in like college should probably read this. It talks about relationships, dating, hooking up and shopping and best friends, and it's so entertaining. I really enjoyed it, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was The Duff, The Designated Ugly Fat Friend by Cody Keplinger. I really enjoyed this book more than I thought I was going to. This is kind of like a coming of age story and feeling comfortable with yourself and coming into yourself, feeling confident. So this book follows our main character, Bianca. She's 16 years old. She feels like she is the ugly fat friend out of her group of friends, and it kind of goes into feeling insecure about yourself to, coming into yourself, and I would suggest any girl in high school, college to read this because I really feel like they could relate to it, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, and this is book 1 in the Percy Jackson and Olympian series. I actually read the first 3 books in this series, but I didn't finish it yet, and I really want to. This book is like Greek mythology, retelling-esque, and I really like Greek mythology, so I really enjoyed this. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, and the other books that I read in the series, I probably gave them a 4 or 5 out of 5 stars as well. Follows our main character, Percy. This is a middle grade series. The Heroes of Olympus series is like the sequel series, and that is young adult, so I've heard good things about that as well. The next book I read was Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, and this was probably my second favorite book this year. This is contemporary. It follows 2 points of view, one from Eleanor and one from Park. And they're two misfits that come together kind of through fate, pretty much. They meet on the school bus, have two different lives, two different lifestyles, two different kinds of families, and they come together and fall in love. And it's actually the best romance, most realistic romance I've ever seen played out. I absolutely adored it. The story broke my heart. I fell in love with the characters. The writing in here is so beautiful. I posted a review on my channel as well as on my Goodreads account, so if you're interested, check that out. And I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, so this is definitely a must read. The next book is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey, and this book is a kind of post-apocalyptic science fiction story, and there's actually the sequels coming out this year, 2014. This follows Cassie, our main character, as she survives the first 4 waves of this alien invasion, and each wave is a different thing that kind of wipes out the human race, and this story kind of follows her life after the first 4 waves and her on the run for survival, and I really enjoyed this. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was City of Bones. I've actually read this in the past, quite a few years ago, but I reread it this year the first time in a while, and I read the second and third book in the series. And I stopped because I wanted to wait for the 6th and last book in the series to come out this year. This follows our main character Clary, and she realized that the world is not exactly what she thought it was. There's like a secret hidden world, and she kind of finds out about that and about, I don't know, about all these secret societies and worlds and creatures that have been living in her world with her, and I'm sure everyone knows what this is about. I'm probably the last person to get on the bandwagon with this one as well, but yeah, I highly recommend the series if you haven't read it yet. And the last book on my list is Divergent by Veronica Roth. I read this one and Insurgent this year, at the end of the year, and I read this one last year, but I didn't finish it. So I finished it this year, and I read Insurgent, and I really, really enjoyed them. This follows our main character, Beatrice, or Triss, and in her society, the world and the society is broken up into factions, and this just kind of shows like her coming of age story, picking the different factions and all that kind of stuff. So I really enjoyed this. I'm sure again everyone knows what the series is about, but I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and I highly recommend it. So guys, those are my top 13 books of 2013. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know down below what your favorite books of 2013 were. See you guys soon. Bye.